Hey guys, Andy with Backbone Adventures here in Estes Park, Colorado, ATV and Jeep rental company. I'm going to talk to you about what we talk to all of our customers about. Everybody that comes to ride with us. No jumping, donuts, and drifting. We tell everybody this, but in the summertime, it's every other day somebody is coming back and they've wrecked a side by side, and it's always the same thing. It's always drifting corners. And today I'm going to explain to you how to drift a corner because honestly, I've had it. I mean, you know, people they have an idea in their head what they want to experience when they get in a side by side or an ATV. And it doesn't matter what we say. It doesn't matter what rules we give. If they have it in their head that they're going to jump or do donuts or drift around the corner because that's something they did in a video game, or that's something they saw somebody else do, or they were riding shotgun in one once with somebody that knew what they were doing, they're going to go do it. It doesn't matter what we say. And we really drive that point home because we've seen some stuff. I mean, I can't tell you how many limbs I've seen lost, and it's never the driver. It's always the passenger. I'll just give you an example of one of the worst ones that was most impactful, I think, for me. I won't go into too many others. There's too many damn horror stories, but probably the worst one was this couple came out for a long weekend. They were from Texas, um, anniversary type weekend, and rented a side by side, ride around in the beautiful Colorado Rockies. Sounds amazing, right? Well, we tell this guy, we can tell right off the bat that he's probably going to get little loose out there. He's that kind of personality, and he wasn't paying attention much. He had to be reminded a couple of times of some of the different rules. But any rate, of course, we tell this guy like we tell everybody else. No jumping, donuts, and drifting, and why. And he goes straight out, rips out down the trail, doesn't even get probably 500 yards, and drifts the corner, and makes the drift, believe it or not, and then starts doing donuts. Starts doing donuts. Wife's in the passenger seat, of course. Flips it over on its side. She sticks out her arm, and it takes off her hand right at the wrist. So we heard it happened, and we are in the process of getting in side by sides to go out there after him, right? But by the time we got halfway there, they were already coming back. They get back. He's got his shirt off. He's got her hand inside of his shirt, and she's sitting there screaming bloody murder. I mean, imagine you're missing your hand. There's blood squirting out of the damn thing. Um, you know, Long story short, this poor lady. It took about an hour for emergency services to show up, and then however long to be able to get the morphine in her to take away the pain. But this lady was screaming bloody murder for an hour, puking blood all over the place. Um, this guy, of course, he felt like a complete douchebag, and as well he should. He was told not to do that stuff, and he went straight out there and did it. And you know, I can't imagine. I don't even know if they're still together, or I know I would think that my wife would leave me. I mean, damn. But they had 3 kids at home, no medical insurance. I mean, it's just horrible to see and to watch her go through the pain that she went through, and was just was definitely horrifying. And I've seen that a lot. People losing them at their shoulders. They always stick out an arm. We tell everybody that too. Keep your arms and hands in. But in the moment, you're not really thinking that. So you really got to just trust the driver. And the whole point of this video is, it's just getting old. It's getting really old. Um, just we're telling you not to do donuts because you don't know how to do donut. You don't know how to do a donut. You don't know how to drift a corner. You don't know how to jump one of these machines. You don't do this every single day. You're not some pro driver. You can't learn this shit in a video game. Um, you can't learn it on a go-kart track. You can go rent a go-kart and you can drift those corners, but it's slick tires on a slick surface. It's that's gonna be just fine. This is a 1000 cc very powerful machine that'll do 0 to 60 in a matter of seconds on uneven, rocky terrain with knobby tires that hook up, I mean, the machine's going to go over unless you really know what you're doing. And I mean, I'll be honest, I hire people all the time for trail crew, and at least once a year, one of my new employees uh, rolls a side by side because they think the same thing. They think, even though they're telling people, don't do this and don't do that, they go out there and they think they can do it too. And they can't, because this isn't what they do. This isn't, you can't just go do a donut. You can't just go drift a corner. It doesn't work like that. You have to actually know what you're doing. So I'm going to explain it to you real quick. To drift a corner, there's a fine line in there. You get in that throttle and you start to drift and your ass end starts to go out. That's when you naturally people start to let off on the throttle a little bit, thinking, okay, now it's going to correct itself and come back. That's not what happens. You need to actually give it a little bit more throttle, and throttle through that. And it's a sweet spot that keeps it in control. Too much throttle, you lose control and you wreck. Too little throttle, it slides out, it goes sideways, and it rolls, tips over. Usually somebody gets hurt because they stick out their hand or something like that, or there's a concussion or whatever, even with helmets on. Shoulder gets bashed into the ground, whatever. And in the Rocky Mountains, it could be a rock that comes through the cage, hits somebody, a tree limb, a down tree, something, unforeseen things. That's how you drift. It's a sweet spot. It's actually a skill that you have to develop, usually through making mistakes, which is the hard part. Whether you can live through it or not, but it's a skill. It's not something anybody can do. Now, I'm telling you this, please don't come here and try it with me, because you're going to find out real quick. You're going to get it wrong, and you're going to end up paying a bunch of money, and you're going to end up getting hurt. Just the other day, I had a family of 4 go out there, and Dad decides he's going to show off a little bit, injures his whole damn family. He walks away, unscathed, but the rest of the family, I mean, you got a broken hip, and there's a broken knee. I'm talking kids here, because Dad's got to be a badass, because he drifted a side by side in a video game, or he drifted a go-kart once, or he saw a buddy do it and he thinks he can do it. I mean, damn, that just sucks to see that happen. So if you're gonna drift, if you're gonna do it, if you're just not gonna listen to me at all, and you're watching this video, which means you're not the kind of person to listen to anybody about anything, so you're probably not watching this video. But on the off chance that you are, in this weird situation, if you're gonna drift, get into the throttle more as you're drifting, but just not too much. It's such a sweet spot, and you have to take in consideration the terrain that you're in, and not just the terrain in general, but the terrain exactly where you're at. And you got to know all those little rocks, because a rock this big on trails in the Rocky Mountains could be it's just sticking out of the ground a little bit. It could be the size of a house underneath. And those knobby tires are going to hook up on that little rock that's the size of a house, and it's going to turn that machine over. So answer this question for me. Do you know our terrain out here, even those little parts, you don't know any of that. Hell, I don't even know any of that. Most of the time I won't drift. I don't like it, because I'm way living on the edge, and I know what I'm doing. I know that sweet spot, and I can get away with it because I've been doing it my whole life. But still, it nerves me up, and I certainly won't do it with anybody in the machine with me. No way in hell. I can't imagine how I'd feel if I injured my daughter or my wife or a friend in something like that. So, and the off chance you're watching this video and you're going to come out here and you're going to run a side by side here or anywhere, it doesn't matter. Even if you're going to borrow your buddies or he's going to let you drive, don't be a D-bag, man. Just don't do it, And if you are, well, you're not going to be able to do it right. But there's the advice. That's how you do it. To learn how to do it, you're going to have to make some mistakes. I know I have. So jumping, donuts is the same thing. It's identical. You can't just let off the throttle. That's when you wipe out. There's a way that you exit it. And I'm not going to explain it to you, because you're not going to make it. And jumping is the same thing out here. I mean, you got to know how to control your machine out of a jump, the incline or decline of the hill. Again, terrain stuff matters, speed, weight, how you hit it, throttle, just so much is involved in all that. It's an actual skill. It's not something that just any person can do. And sure, you might get lucky. You might catch a little bit of air, and maybe you do it okay, and you don't lose control and hit a tree and end up tumbling and, you know, destroying your whole family. I don't know how many times I've seen that, you know, and that's a that's sad to see. I've seen some divorces happen right in front of me. That's it. I'm done with you. You know, you don't want that to happen to you. I'm not trying to scare you. But if you're planning on going riding a side by side or something like that, renting one somewhere, anywhere here, Bahamas, wherever, and you're the wife, the girlfriend, or whatever, and you're thinking this would be a good thing, or maybe your man comes to you and says, "Hey, we should do this activity. It's really fun. It's really cool, and it's an awesome experience. It really is." But you want to make sure that who is going to be driving is somebody that you can keep control of to some degree. Otherwise, and that they have the right personality for it. You know, if they're a very reckless person that just doesn't listen to anybody, then you could be in some pretty serious trouble. So I'll show you a couple of pictures here of some stuff, because this is maybe, if you're going to rent a side by side, maybe something you want to know about. I mean, started off with this one here. You know, that's a rollover in Colorado. You know, just some different accidents. I mean, imagine how those people came out of that one. You know, they probably didn't. You know, it's just, you name it. There's pictures in here. I've seen them before of some of our accidents on Google Images. You can check out. But yeah, I would just get in here and check out side-by-side accidents, and maybe they give you a healthy respect for these machines. You know, they're just, and deaths. There was some teenagers who died this year, just shot right off a cliff edge, drifting a corner and right off a cliff edge. I don't know how stupid you got to be for that, but you know, they weren't our riders or anything. This is a fun video to watch, this one right here. This guy, he's one of those D-bags, thinks he knows what he's doing, and just railing a razor. I think this is on YouTube. And yeah, he just wipes out, thinks he knows what he's doing, got himself a side-by-side, got his girlfriend in there, and I don't know what he's doing. It looks like he's probably doing 50, 60 miles an hour, and gonna have a pretty violent crash. No helmets, nothing. They kept their arms and their hands tucked inside, which is great, but they're young, they'll make it through. She hit her head, but she's okay, she says. But you know, they got lucky. Most people don't get lucky out of that. You know, if there had been a bad injury, that video probably wouldn't have been on YouTube. Tons of stuff to look at out there. I would, before you come ride with us, I'll be honest with you. I don't want any douchebags. If you're a douchebag, I don't want your business. I'm not all about the money. I really don't care. I like really cool people, good people. Those are the customers I like, and we get most of our customers that way. And I love talking to them. I love hearing about their ride. I hear about it every day, and I love hearing about it even more every day. It's great. I love this business, and I love our customers. But the douchebags I don't love. And if you're a douchebag, I don't want you. Don't want your business. I think, you know, there's a number of times that I've just looked at some people and said, you know what, I'm just going to give you your money back. And, you know, I've gotten some bad feedbacks from that on social media, Google, whatever. But it is what it is. You know, I don't want your business. I don't want to see somebody get hurt. I've seen enough kids get hurt, and women and stuff like that I don't want to see that anymore. That shit ain't right. So you can just go somewhere else. I don't want your business. But if you're a good person, you're a good-hearted human being, that's who I like to meet and who I like to deal with, and my whole staff. That's why we're all in this, and that's what we love about it. And I'll give you an example. This summer we had a bad couple of days in a row. We had a bad 2 weeks. I mean, there's just accidents every day and multiples. People getting injured, you know, just douchebags doing stupid stuff, drifting corners and just going crazy out there, you know. And it was a bad period there, and it goes in waves like that. And then we had these really cool people from Alaska that own Skagway Spirits up in Skagway, Alaska. Really cool people. You know, they made our whole year. You know, after the ride, they had an amazing time. Went to Rollins Pass, had an amazing time on the trail. Just absolutely loved it. Came back, gave us a bunch of their vodka and gin that they make, which was awesome stuff. We drank a little bit after at the end of the day, but just meeting cool people from all over the country and all over the world. Even some, a family from Nebraska who's just a normal, average, everyday family, but they're good-hearted people. That just makes our day every single day to just meet people like that. You know, and if you're those kind of people, just good-hearted people, we'd love to have you. Um, really would. But if you're not, just stay away. At any rate, if you're watching this and you're going to drift a corner, hopefully you listen to my advice on that and stay safe. Don't injure anybody. It's horrible, and that repercussions afterwards are just monstrous. To lose a limb, what that does to a family and what it does to a relationship, uh, it's bad. I'm not going to go into some horror stories, but it's bad. So just go out and have fun, and enjoy the beauty of the mountains and the wildlife and the great views and just being out there. You don't need to go 1,000 miles an hour. You can get up to speed, have a little fun, live on the wild side a little bit, but Jesus, don't act like you're a pro racer or something, like you're running King of Hammers or something. You've never done anything like this before. Have some common sense, is what I'm saying, in a long way around it. Have a good night.